My name is Badara Ndiaye and I'm Senegalese American, and today I'm showing at AKAA in Paris. Of course, for the 10th-year anniversary of AKAA, I'm very happy to be here, and it is not actually about just Senegalese art, it is about African art in general. So for me, it is very important to show my roots and where I come from, and to put all of those together as well as my personal experiences actually. So it's not only about Senegalese art, but it's about art in general that is linked to my personal experiences. Yes, it is not really that. We have some of the artworks. You have some movement of a dancing person, like such as one of that is on over my left shoulder. But we also have most of the artworks actually are showcasing different chapters of my personal life and different chapters also of people who are going to be seeing themselves in those experiences. I know some people kind of compare some of my work with Soulage or with some other artists actually, but not at all. I just found it in an unconscious way that having the black background really brings out the colors and gives them the vibrance that they need to in order to communicate better. So no Soulage, just Badara. So it just happened to be wood in general, but I don't always use wood, but most of the time I use wood. And these pieces of wood actually are upcycled. So these are pieces that I found in the street and give them a second life actually. So that's what it is, yes. This is actually resin that I use on acrylic because I always use acrylic. And the story about this actually is talking about how when boys get in trouble, when boys get together, they always cause troubles. And this is basically a representation of myself and my two brothers actually. Les Maasai.
Les Maasai.
Yes,
alors dans cette peinture-là justement, est-ce que c'est une réflexion que vous faites?
I thought that it's just because that's what I had in terms of size, and that's what I worked with. I actually work with what I have. I don't try to cause myself too much constraint when working. I work with what I have and I try to make the best out of it. So yeah, I use actually some fabrics, and actually last summer I was exhibiting at the Museum of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, where I had showcased one of the African actually boo-boo that I painted on. So I used some textile, but not as much I used to. But I paint on clothes and shoes because of my background in fashion. But I haven't explored that to that level yet. So for now, I'm just exploring for whatever that comes to me, and I just started even creating some furniture as well.
Tirailleur sénégalais.
Yes.
De quelle manière votre négritude ressort dans votre peinture?
In fact, I don't think it's just a question of negritude or not. It's just about being myself, and I consider myself as somebody very worldly. Besides, of course, not forgetting that I am black before anything, but also I'm a person like many cultures because over time I have been to many places, have crossed paths with different cultures as well, where I was able to integrate and be the person I am today, again, without forgetting where I come from. In Senegal, we have most of the people there being about 90% or 95% actually is Muslim in Senegal. And so we have the Islamic, let's say, references that we use as well. But no, it's not calligraphy. These are just some of the spontaneous things that I do when I paint that make sense to me afterwards, yes. 2 meter, 2 meter 11, yes. So I was a basketball player before, so that's how I moved from Senegal to the US. And after a few years, I got injured, which is why I stopped playing basketball. Then I started working in fashion. So now I work in fashion as a consultant in creative direction. So I work with fashion brands. I also work within the medical field and international organizations also. And so right now, art is just a passion that I developed, but it is not my main work, actually. Yes. À Paris et à l'international. Il n'y a pas que Louis Vuitton et Hermès quand il s'agit de la haute couture. Okay, so I worked with different brands actually from all over, and I consult from smaller brands to big brands. For example, right now I'm working with the United Nations on a project in Tunisia where I work with different designers to kind of help them improve their international positioning actually, which is what I do for the brands and the people that I work with, yes. That you can always do whatever that it is that you want to do, and that you should never stop at one thing. I think my artworks or my works are going to remain depending on how people are going to connect to it. And I think they will connect to it because the stories that are being told are very human. So this is why I think that it is going to stay.